that, Bull, the Guardians' lead in the AL Central has been cut to just 4.5. Twins are one of the hottest teams in baseball, and as you just alluded to, the Guardians have lost 9 of their last 15 games. So the question I have for you, with roughly 70 games to go, should the Guardians still be considered the hands-on favorites to win the AL Central?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know obviously the lead's been cut down. This is going to happen over a season. No team plays great the entire year. Guardians are not playing their best ball right now. Minnesota's played better. But, somebody said to me, well, in another week they could be, tied for first. They could be. They could also be back up by 8-9 games in another week. Or, well, not another week because it's the All-Star break. But, you get what I'm saying, 2 weeks. So 4.5 game lead, 5 in the loss column is, yes, it's disappointing because 2 weeks ago they had a 9-game lead in the division. And now it's swept down because Minnesota's played real well and Kansas City has gotten back on track, but they had slow earlier. There's a lot of ebbs and flows to the season. Would you rather be, as poorly as the Guardians have played for the last 2 weeks, I'd still rather be 4.5 games up than 4.5 games back. So, yes, they should be the favorites still.
Yeah, they still got the lead, still got the cushion. I'd rather be playing with a 4.5 game lead than just, being even right now. And if you would have said before the season, hey, the Guardians will be up at the All-Star break 4.5 games, we'd be like, what?
You would sign for that easy.
Man, shut your mouth, bro.
Yeah.
I'll take that. How did that happen?
Yeah.
So, for me, there's going to be long stretches of the season where you just can't put it together. Like I always say, look, if you win 100 games, that means you lost 60 times.
Yeah, that's right.
So, it's just one of those things where, now I will say this, the Guardians, I don't think will run away with it.
No, I don't think so either.
I think, it'll stay between 5, and you might even see the Royals jump back up in there a little more, a little bit, if the Twins fall off a little bit. But I think that it's going to be a close race all summer.
So for me, I think at the beginning of the year, we kind of talked about this being a close race all summer long. And then what the Cleveland Guardians did was they got out to this amazing start of the season, and then we kind of, moved the needle a little bit, assuming that the Guardians will have this division wrapped up at earliest probably mid to late August. But you know what, Bull G, I actually like it like this, right? I think the fact that, the Twins and the Royals have played much better over the last couple of weeks, it's good that the Guardians know that they're not going to just run away with the AL Central. That means they keep you locked in and keep you focused and keep you on your heels. And when you got a young team like this, I think that's good energy and that's good repetition as you get towards the end of the season to prepare for the playoffs. Especially if you look at how they played over the last 15 games or so, right? It seems like they're probably exhausted, probably physically exhausted. They've looked at the calendar. Human nature kicks in. They know the All-Star game is coming.
Yeah.
And so when you got a team that's on your heels like that, like the 4.5 out, it just keeps you sharp and keep you focused and things like that. So I think the Guardians has found themselves in an arms race throughout the rest of the season. I'm okay with that. I'm looking forward to it.
And it's crazy what you said about that. If you look at home field advantage, even if you say, I want the Guardians win the division, had the best record, it has home field advantage. In baseball, home field advantage counts the least out of other sports.
That's true.
Like in basketball and football, that's major. You got home court advantage. In baseball, we've seen teams go on the road and win games. We've seen teams go on the road that are underdogs and win games in closing games and on the road. So for me, it's just about getting there and playing your best baseball and having health and having that momentum getting into the playoffs. I'd rather them end the year with momentum and have their rotation ready to go and lathered up rather than doing it right now.
Yeah, I mean, there is something to be said that you look at last year, and a lot of times in recent years, but last year in particular, the Rangers and Diamondbacks were fighting to make the playoffs at the end of the season, and it carried into the playoffs, and they both got to the World Series. There's something to be said for, we've seen it in recent years, that teams that have been way ahead have kind of gone stale once the playoffs, because you have nothing to play for the last few weeks. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'd rather the Guardians have a 9-game lead right now than 4.5, yeah, but there are some positives to being in the mix in competition. Even if nothing else, even if you are battling for that top spot, you're right, it's not that big a deal in baseball to be the number 1 seed, to have the home field, but you'd rather have it than not.
Right.
Especially in a game 5 in the first round or a game 7 in the ALCS, you'd rather that game be at home. Getting last licks is meaningful, more than even the stadium. But especially if you're going to play the Yankees. Like, you want to be at home against the Yankees.
Oh, for sure.
You
playing
playing the Orioles, the Twins, it doesn't make as much of a difference. Well, there's something about playing at Yankee Stadium. You'd rather you know.
You just feel like you can't get. You just feel like they're gonna hit a home run like
right
every time. Like bums hit home runs for the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, especially it's tricky at their stadium.
You don't need the lights being too bright for none of our pitchers, man.
Yeah. So listen, yes, the Twins are a threat. We knew they would play better. The Royals are back on track after they had slumped for a while. Now it's the Indian stretch. Now we'll see. Hopefully they get a good series here against Tampa. You got Gavin Williams pitching this weekend. What do they got? Carrasco, Lively, and Gavin Williams this weekend, right?
I'll double check, but I believe that is.
I think that's the three guys this weekend. We'll see.
And you said something. You said they got the number one pick. Now maybe I'm just getting greasy here. Maybe I'm just being greedy. Project Stockpile and baseball version. Now look, if I get one of these young hitters, if I got Condon, and I'm looking around and I'm like, all right, it's September.
Yeah.
What if I ain't got no sticks?
Yeah.
What if we ain't get nobody? I'm like, he can't pinch run hit for somebody in right field?
It's unlikely that they would do that for a variety of reasons. One, the guy might not be ready.
He might not. He's not gonna melt though.
But
if he strikes out 6 times,
no. But if they it's always the thing with the clock. They don't want to get the clock started too early before he's really ready to play. I would say. If I draft either of those guys, I would start him in Double-A. I'm skipping A-ball. I don't know what they're going to do. I'd skip A-ball, put him right in Double-A, right at Akron.
Tomorrow.
Next week or whatever, And I would see, and if he plays great, I'd put him in Columbus. And if he plays great, yes, I would consider calling him up. I doubt they'll do it, but I would.
And that's how many months? Look, if you talk about September.
Yeah. We got 6 weeks.
That's 6 weeks.
6-7 weeks.
That's some data.
Yeah.
I would be kind of scared if it was a pitcher because I'm like, I don't want you overthrowing. I don't want you mess.
No.
But if it's just a regular hitter, like, hey.
I mean, Condon's been playing in the SEC. He hit 1 million home runs.
He got 70 home runs. I'm like, dang, how long have you been playing?
Can he play right field in the big leagues? I don't know that he's capable of doing that yet. It might. I wouldn't count on it. I think it's very unlikely. But if he goes to Akron and Columbus, and I don't even know that they're going to start him in Akron. I'm saying I would start him in Akron. I don't know that they're going to do that. Go ahead, Mike.
Gee, you asked who he's playing? The SEC is the highest level of college baseball possible. Now, granted, they use metal bats. And metal bats, you don't have to hit it perfectly to hit a home run.
Right.
But those fields are legit. They're not baby ballparks.
Yeah.
37 home runs in the power Condon showed this season and last season at Georgia are historical levels of power. That's not how he ran into a couple. Like, that is legitimate, unprecedented
and how many
levels
games
of power.
are they playing? How many games are they playing?
Depends on how far
60,
they
right?
went,
60,
but about
70?
60.
Yeah.
He played 60 and he got 37 home runs?
Bro, his slugging percentage
this year,
is over
his
1,000.
stats.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now exactly. Georgia played exactly 60 games,
Come on,
Yeah.
man.
which means Condon played in, when this loads, he played in 57 games. So
Okay.
he hit 37 homers. in
Come
57.
on. Come on.
That's a pretty high percentage.
I had to take the spectacles off. What are you talking about? We can't play him. You should have never told me that. This dude is,
He about to go Imani Bates on him.
Yeah, that's right.
This
He
is
going
the
Imani.
new Imani Bates.
Imani
Talking
Condon.
about Imani Condon is
Well, yesterday,
legit.
we talked
Yeah.
about Condon, and we had the typo on the graphic. His OPS, we had
Right.
like 1 point. That was his slugging percentage.
Oh, his slugging
Turns out
percentage
his
is south.
slugging percentage was down. His OPS last season, was he ready for this?
Yeah.
1.565.
Yeah, I'm sitting upstairs and I'm correcting my error from yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, I said, oh, my bad. I was looking at his slugging percentage. Mike goes, wait, that's his slugging percentage? I said, yeah.
His slugging percentage of 1,000 is absurd.
And then we'll move on to talk Browns in a sec.
Yeah.
But, and we're going to, in the TV show, we're going to make our picks. If we were the Guardians with the 1-1, who would we select? Come on. I feel like I know which way G's leaning.
on.
But
Yeah.
last season at Georgia, his second season with the Bulldogs, in those games, he had 100 hits. 37 were home runs. 20 were doubles, and he had 1 triple. So in 60 games, he had 58 extra base hits.
So he had 37 home runs 2 years in a row?
He had 25 home runs his first season playing.
Yeah.
He had 37 this year.
Hey, the hell with Akron. He
So
went
Out of
straight to
100
Columbus.
hits, he had 59 extra base
So he's
hits.
had 60 home runs in about 120 games.
62 home runs in 116 games.
Yeah,
Yeah, boy, we're going straight to Columbus. We're going straight to
Hey,
Columbus.
listen, I'm going straight to an imaginary. He's going right to Toledo. He going to Dayton, wherever.
There has been a guy. There's been who was it? There was a pitcher for the Reds in the 70s, I want to say, who went straight to the big leagues, maybe from high school.
Well, Paul Skeens was just named the NL starter in the All-Star game.
Oh, that's not right. He shouldn't be the starter.
I'm just telling you, it's
Yeah,
official.
but
He throws 109.
yeah,
or
he didn't
something.
pitch enough innings. I don't think he earned that, but whatever. He's great. But he's a once in a decade prospect. Bryce Harper, Strasburg. These guys aren't that level of prospect, but they're high level.
I ain't heard nobody hit that many home runs in college.
That's true.
Wait,
Here,
listen,
let me look
Yeah.
up the all-time single-season record. Hold on one sec.
man, this dude.
I thought he got it.
This dude is getting. Yeah, he's up here. Sorry.
I thought Condon had the record.
Stephen Bolt, stop playing around.
That's not his call.
And you look, they listen. The front office will be locking him up, right?
It is not the record. You ready for this?
Yeah. What's the record?
So, Pete Incaviglia
Oh my
And
God,
Pete
Mike.
Incaviglia?
in night.
It's not Incaviglia.
I don't know. I never
Big
heard that
Pete,
name.
man. The guy had a chest.
Yeah.
He looked like a professional bodybuilder. Pete
Never heard of
Incaviglia.
him.
Yeah, good.
In
Oh, yeah,
1985, he played 75 games that season.
Yeah.
Hit 48 home runs.
Yeah. Nah, he was a good major leaguer,
Yeah, he
but
was.
not great.
He was.
He wasn't
Second.
a great. He had a lot of power.
Second, Jeff Ledbetter.
I don't think he ever
Florida
played in the
State,
majors.
1982, hit 42 home runs in 74 games.
I could be wrong. I don't think if he played in the majors, he did not play long because I don't remember. the
Condon
name.
is tied for fifth. I'll give you the other two guys ahead
All
of
right,
him.
go ahead.
Lance Berkman, who you've heard of,
Was a
at
great player.
Rice, hit 41 in 63 games. That's
Yeah.
the Ferris comp. And then Brandon Larson of LSU in 97 hit 40 in 69.
Never heard of him. I don't know if he played. I don't think he played in the big leagues.
These
either.
dudes is hitting 2 home
So
runs a
Condon's
game.
tied for fifth,
Yeah.
and then Jack Caglione, the other guy
Yeah.
who's in consideration, with his 35 this year,
Yeah.
tied for eighth all time.
Okay. By the way, I think it was Joe Nuxhall, if you want to look that up, who went straight from either high school or college.
Spell
to-
Nuxhall for me.
Joe Nuxhall of the Reds. Nuxhall. I believe he's the one.
Don't search that at
Did
work.
Mark Fidrich of the Tigers go
Don't
straight
search
to the majors?
Don't search that at work.
There was somebody else. Well, Joe Charbonneau didn't play in the minors very long. I don't
Not on the
think.
company Wi-Fi.
No,
Not on the
no.
company Wi-Fi.
Are you sure when you get hit with that firewall? Are
Joe
you sure?
Nuxhall,
Yeah, did Joe Nuxhall play in the minors?
I know, but he was drafted in the 1944 draft.
They had a shut up, Earl.
Definitely
He
don't,
retired in 1966.
definitely
so
don't search pictures.
either your time's way off
images.
or you're thinking of the wrong person.
But
But he did pitch for the Reds.
yeah, did he pitch in the minors?
They're talking about his World War II stints.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why can't we get?
All right, it doesn't matter.
Why can't we get?
He's the youngest player to ever make a debut, though, and 16 years old. So maybe you are right.
Yeah.
Why can't we get Caglione too?
He's gonna be a top 5 pick.
I know there's concern about him, and the guy mentioned it yesterday, that he swings and misses a lot. I worry about that with college. hitters.
Well, listen. If he's going to retire, can't we just tell him don't sign? We got this bag.
Well, other teams can offer a bag too.
Oh yeah. They
Whatever, so, if the Guardians used, let's just say, $10 million on the first pick, the second team in the draft has the next most amount of money.
Oh, so they got $9 million.
Yeah.
Essentially, so the Guardians, let's say they take a guy who takes a quote unquote haircut for $1 million less. They could use that $1 million for a guy in the middle of the first round who may be getting 5. Like, hey, we'll give you 6. I don't think you're gonna get a guy to drop from 2 to 36 for the Guardians to use the extra.
All right, go
So
ahead.
I was right about Nuxhall, except I was wrong about the timeline. The guy in the 70s, as Steve pointed out, was a guy named David Clyde, who went
call.
straight from high school to the majors. But his career flamed out. I think he barely pitched.
All right, let's
Nuxhall
talk a
was
little
a great
Browns,
pitcher.
guys.